That's 2, 3, 4, 5.
You ready? Do you need any? Got it? Are we good here? Like, did you try these?
No, that's yours. They're muted. That one is not.
But like, sound like put yours on and talk like. Okay, that's good. We'll test it. Yep, it's good.
You're welcome. Where do you want us? Side by side?
Here.
I'll let Ryan.
I'm gonna go questions with you first, and then Ryan. Sound good?
Okay.
And then questions I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna go back. First off, I'm really impressed doing the research for you. So I'm gonna talk a little bit high school, like what you remember state championship goes, your decision to go pro, or go Texas over going pro, your father's influence on you, Coach Gus's influence, and a little bit about Texas and tell stories and have fun. Okay, be you. All righty, we ready to get started here? Can you guys hear me? Are we good? Volume good? All right. All right, this is Rock Hardball on deck. I am here with 2 Round Rock legends, Coach Langerhans and Ryan Langerhans. I'm going to start out, first and foremost, doing the research. I've known Coach, I've known Ryan for many years. Going through the history of Coach, all right? So just a little bit of a background. At the University of Texas, 3 NCAA Men's College World Series, 1969, 70, and 72. 4 Southwest Conference titles. All-American honors, 1971 batting average, .413 at the University of Texas. 30 career home runs, still ranked 7th in University of Texas history on the all-time list, and number 1 among players who played before 1975. Coach Langerhans would end his Texas career with 35 doubles, 7 triples, 151 RBIs, a .325 batting average, a .589 slugging percentage, which ranks 12th in all-time UT history. Coach and the late, great Round Rock alum Jeff Ontiveros, the only 2 players in UT history to lead the team in home runs for 3 or more years. University of Texas Hall of Honor induction 2011. And I think it was a 2009 Texas Coaches Association Hall of Fame.
Something like that.
Something like that. Ryan, sorry, it wasn't as long.
No.
All right, so let's go a little bit into, here's the volume if that's too loud for you guys. You're on 3, you're on 4. So if you're on 1, you're on 3. So if you're too loud, or you can control it. All right, let's talk a little bit. Tell us about your family, Coach. We'll start with Coach. Tell me a little bit about your family, grandkids. I know you wear a lot of purple these days.
Yeah, we have 4 grandsons, and 2 of them are in thrall. Both of them doing real well. The youngest one over in thrall he really stepped up in football this year and did an outstanding job. And the coach over there is really excited about him quarterbacking. And both of them, of course, are playing baseball. Ryan's got 2, same age, a 7th grader and a sophomore. The little one, the 7th grader, is a magician with the basketball. I've never seen anything that age handle a basketball like he does. And, of course, Kaysen is doing real well at Cedar Ridge in baseball.
Excellent.
And Kelly and Jason are doing well over there. And
I see he's running for the school board now.
he's running
Getting
for
into
the school
politics.
board.
He's getting into politics.
Yeah, I guess he's made for politics, isn't he?
Probably so.
No.
So let's talk a little bit about your early life, right? So your father's influence on you, both as a coach, a future coach, and a Longhorn, and becoming a Longhorn.
Well, I tagged along with him starting probably about the age 4, riding on the bus with him, because he coached at the time. La Jolla was just a little consolidated school with only about, maybe 100, 150 kids in the whole school. But he was principal, math teacher, head football, head baseball, bus driver. He did everything down there. And at 4 years old, I was, I kind of, he had picked me up, from the people that were taking care of me. And, I'd go to every one of the practices and everything. And, I was the ball boy, bat boy, rode on the bus with him and everything. And I just remember telling him back when I was 6 or 7 years old, that I said, Daddy, this is what I want to do when I grow up. And he said, no, you don't want to do this because there's no money in it, John. And I said, I don't care if there's any money in it. I see the look in your eyes when you work with your players and how much you enjoy it and how much you like to when they succeed. And I said, that's what I want. I don't care about that much money. And he says, well, you got to make a living. And I said, well, hopefully I can find a way. Of course, at 6 or 7, I wasn't, saying all that, but I said, I remember saying, I don't care. I don't care. I want to be a coach. And so,
So let's talk a little bit about high school. So now you get into high school. I forgot the name of the schools.
South End.
2-time, 3A state championship.
We won it twice, yeah. And finished third the other time.
So interesting tidbit. Volume up.
I played for Coach Gus for 7 years.
So you played for Coach Gus at high school. So Coach Gus is the high school. Masters on top. All right, so he played for Coach Gus, wins 2 state championships. And here's an interesting tidbit. Coach and Ryan are the only father-son to be the winning pitcher in the deciding game for a state championship in the history of Texas baseball. Didn't know if you knew that.
I didn't know it until Bob told me a couple weeks ago.
So you still to this day are the only 2 father-son combo to be on the mound and the winning pitcher in the deciding game of the state championship in state history. And then I didn't know until today, doing the research on you, your high school coach was Coach Gus.
Yeah.
Now, you were drafted out of high school.
Right.
And which team was that?
I got to think. Minnesota Twins.
Twins.
So had it been my Yankees, you might have gone pro, but you had your heart set on making a decision that you were going to Texas.
Yeah.
The Yankees were his team when he was young.
Yeah. Yeah. Mickey Mantle was my hero. That's why I always wore 7. Yeah, I decided I wanted to follow Coach Gus to Texas. And
so at what point, let's go back to the high school point. Like, at what point did you realize, hey, I got what it takes. Like, I can make it to this next level, whether it was Texas. I know that was your dream school. At what point was it that you realized, like, hey, I got a shot to really make something here? Was it freshman year? Was it later sophomore, junior year?
I guess I did well at Marble Falls, but I wasn't sure if it was still a question of could I compete at the big school level. And when I went there, I didn't have any problem. I felt like, I could go beyond here.
Mm-hmm.
And of course the scouts had told my dad to move me from Marble Falls and get me into a big baseball school. Uh, and of course, when I went in there and joined the South End Ball Club and everything, and I saw what I was competing against and what kind of ball club we had, and I thought, shoot, I can, I'm not just going to be able to compete. I can be one of the top guys. And at that time, and my sophomore year, I became the number 2 pitcher. We had an outstanding pitcher that didn't graduate until he was a year ahead of me, and so I wasn't number 1 until my senior year. But he was outstanding, and I just he and I basically pitched all the games.
You weren't pitch counts back then.
No, and Coach Gus wasn't real. It didn't really, And when he left for Texas, and the JV coach that took over, he just pitched the heck out of me. And I mean, I pitched in 18 of the first 22 ball games of the season. So it was probably why I had to give up baseball, because my arm went bad.
And that's the funny thing, because I remember the stories of you as a high school pitcher. I assumed you went on to Texas as a pitcher. It wasn't until I started researching for the interview that I
Right.
started seeing all your accolades there. So let's go back to that. At the end of high school, you have a tough decision. Minnesota Twins draft you. You've committed to University of Texas. Ironically, kind of similar would repeat itself 29 years later with Ryan.
Right.
But here is a quote that I got from you years ago. You said, "I've been a Longhorn my whole life, and getting a chance to go to Texas and play baseball, to me, was more important than when I got drafted out of high school to play in the pros."
Okay. That's
So,
to tell you the truth, I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel independent enough to be able to go straight into pro ball. So I wanted the college experience. And I knew what I was getting with Coach Gus being there. It was just a whole lot more comfortable for me. And I felt like I could hit it running as soon as I got there.
and you got to play at, what was it, Clark Field with the cliffs out in the outfield?
Yeah, Clark Field. It was a unique ballpark. And, of course, everybody that came in there griped about the cliff out in center field.
If you,
Especially the Aggies. I had a buddy that I played summer ball with, during the summer season, that played second base for him, and he liked to flap his jaws all the time. And we were playing the Aggies at Clark Field, and all he was doing was griping about that cliff. And I finally hollered at him, "Butch, quit griping, because you guys can't reach the cliff." And, I said, "Y'all are going to be climbing the cliff all day, and you guys can't reach it." Of course, they had Dave Elmendorf, who could hit it beyond the cliff back then, but I just had to get on Big Butch a little bit, because that's, he talked the whole ball game, anyway.
if you don't, like, I didn't know Texas like history when I was researching, and I saw Clark Field. Literally, the outfield is a cliff. Like, center field is a literal cliff that you got to get it up and over.
Yeah. It was 370 feet to the cliff and 420 to the top of the fence in center field. So it was elevated. And
I heard
to
those
hit it.
7 triples. Those 7 triples had to be on top of the cliff, because you weren't really probably legging triples out.
I didn't get many triples. No.
So, you get drafted a second time by Cleveland. You play 4 years in their system, and then you end up coaching. You were 28 years, last 19 at Round Rock. So, talk a little bit. You come to Round Rock. What's the state of the program? What's it like? I mean, you end up building what we all have today and we see today.
Well, they had been struggling a little bit. They had had some years of success, but when I came in, when I came and interviewed for the job, I went to an American Legion game that night, and a bunch of the kids came up and sat with me in the stands and visited, and I could just tell that they really wanted baseball, that they were enthusiastic about, you know, becoming good, getting real good. And I was told about the summer leagues uh, out there, over there on Main Street, and and eventually it went to Old Settlers, but just the hunger for baseball in the community, I sensed that while I was watching the game, and I, I had an interview at Anderson, but Anderson just had a practice field there on campus where, we already had Dragon Diamond there, and but the way the kids responded and everything, I told Sharon after, I said, this is the place for me. I need to come here. These kids love baseball, and that's for me. And
So you come in. Let's talk a little bit. Your dad and Coach Gus. How did they influence or impact your coaching style that you would bring in? Now you've got what 6, 7 years experience as a coach. You come in as Round Rock. You're building the Round Rock program. Um, were there any things or key lessons that you just brought from your childhood, being around great coaches like Coach Gus and your dad? How that influenced you?
well, I guess probably developing uh, your skills and everything. I probably learned more from my dad uh, and my competitiveness, but there's no question. Uh, I would say at least 80% of my coaching style was Coach Gus. Small ball, uh, percentage baseball, basically percentage baseball. If you hit 200, if you're hitting 200, and we're in a situation where I can use you to bunt the guy up to set it up for the next guy to drive him in and everything. That's smart baseball. I mean, that's the way Coach Gus operated. If you're hitting 400 when you come up and you're on first base, he probably turns you loose. But if you're a 200 hitter, you're gonna bunt the guy up, and that's kind of the way I operated. Drag bunting, and I mean just basically small ball. But my good hitters, I turned them loose pretty well. We still did a lot of taking. Y'all probably took more than you wanted to, but
I,
you just you know studying the pitchers. Uh, you know, I just, I learned so much from Coach Gus as far as what you're seeing out there. Study the pitchers, and they're gonna give us a few free passes if we let them. I'm gonna make you take everybody. If they're throwing strikes, if they're getting ahead of hitters, then I'm probably going to turn you loose. Except for those guys that are hitting 180 and 200. They're going to still have to take because I need to get you on base. And that's kind of the way we operated, uh, and stressing the fundamentals. I don't think I ever hit a fungo where I didn't say something, about the way the guy fielded, whether it was good or not so good. You know, that looks good. That's the way to do it. Or you got to get over there in front of it. You're not, blasting off. You're not taking a good angle to get over. You can develop more range if you will, you know, get a jump on the ball. I want you to feel that ball that I just hit in front of you instead of being satisfied with a backhand. Uh, Cutoff guys not getting in a proper position with their, you know, their glove hand on the inside so they can go, I didn't want them turning all the way around, and just examples like that. Uh, Pop-up coverage, everybody had a responsibility in an area, and if uh, they didn't take charge in that area, it was their fault. It wasn't somebody else breaking their neck to try to catch it because you stood there and watched. If you want to do that, you can come over and sit with me. And, and it just all those things, you had to do everything just right with Coach Gus. And I guess that's what I learned the most. Let's do everything just right.
I could sit here all night. I could make this a really, really long conversation. This is great. I'll give one great story. So my youngest, Ian, who's now 13, the age of two of your grandsons. Well, when they were 5 and 6, they got to play for Coach Langerhans during the All-Stars. And early in the season, doing foursquare, throwing the ball around, and Coach standing in the middle watching. And I can still remember, and he goes, "That ain't right. That ain't right. Ain't seen a dang infielder yet." They were 5 and 6. I was like, this is great. But it just talks about the fundamentals, right? And hammering the fundamentals of baseball.
Oh, he'd make you throw the ball around the horn. If you couldn't throw the ball around the horn consistently, he's like, if we can't catch it and throw it, why go do something else?
And we did. Yeah. We did until they got it right. It was great. But watching baseball today, and I've watched games with you out at the Dragon Diamond, does it drive you crazy, especially watching the pros, where they don't play the small ball anymore, where a guy bats 190 or 205, gets paid $20 million because he launches 45 homers, but couldn't move a runner or play situational baseball to save his life? Does that kind of drive you nuts the way the game's become?
Well, yeah. I don't know that I could coach anymore because, I'd be the only one playing small ball, it seems like, because, I get on all of Ryan's coaches and everything for not bunting, and it drives me crazy that Darryl doesn't do a whole lot of bunting, and it drove me crazy when I was watching Johnny, and there were times where I felt like he needed to be bunting and everything. I hadn't made a mistake. I hadn't made a mistake since I've sat on the other side of the fence. If they should have bunted,
it's funny how that works, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah. If they bunt and they fail, they shouldn't have bunted.
Yep.
And if they let them swing away and they hit into a double play, they should have bunted. So
it's always easy on this side of the net.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a whole lot easier.
All right, let's go 1997 season. All right. So expectations, what were they like coming in? We're coming in the state championship year for Rock Hardball. You had a pretty dang good team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a good team every year. Mm-hmm. But this team was it was going to be pretty special. The thing that was best about that 97 bunch is the chemistry. They were talented, but the chemistry, the way they all hung out together, the way they all pull for each other. Ryan made a comment to me one time. I think we were going hunting or something, and he said, "Dad, we're talking about that. We got off on I don't know what we were coming up with my all-time all-star team, and who would you put on the first team all-star team in Round Rock and everything, and we were talking about all that, and we got to the 97 bunch, and he says, I never felt pressure the whole season, and I don't think Gordo did, and I don't think Frizz did, and I don't think Jeff did, because we all felt like throughout the lineup, if we strike out, the guy behind me is going to do the job. And he says, we felt that way 1 through 9, all the way, that somebody was going to come through. And that year in 97, Ryan was pretty consistent during the playoffs as far as getting a hit or two. But as far as heroes, at each step of the playoffs, we had different guys be the hero. We had one guy that didn't hit a home run the whole season, and he hit one. We had another guy, Todd Spradlin, that didn't hit a home run during the whole season. He hit 3 against Nacogdoches. It was just.
That was the one of the series that stood out for me because I think I went out in game 1 of that series and gave up a run or two in the first inning. And in a lot of situations in a third round playoff game, you might be like, oh crap. But just the way that team had been all season, I was like, these guys will pick me up if I just get it together, and that was kind of the mindset of that group.
And Todd went nuts. And, it was just, I told Coach Richardson, my assistant, when we went to Dish Falk to play, I said, we're so hot right now, it's scary. I said, and after we won it, on the way back on the bus, on the way back to Round Rock, I said, I'm ready to take on the New York Yankees right now. I said, I think we could beat them. I mean, we just, the kids 1 through 9 were just, they were fantastic. And they did everything I asked them to do. It was just.
So how did you balance or separate? Right. So my father was a varsity softball coach. So my 4 sisters got the grunt of it. I didn't play for my dad. How did you separate being a coach, being a dad? I remember coaching Ian, all 3 of my boys, but coaching Ian, and this is only youth. It's not high school. And I said to him, he was like 5 or 6. And he said, Dad. And I said, I'm coach out here. And he said, but you're still my dad, right?
Yeah.
Now you're in high school. You got to be hard on them. How did you separate? How was that for you? Like my father's approach was, I'm going to be twice as hard on my girls because I can't be hard on some other kid if I'm not hard on mine.
I was harder on Ryan than I was on everybody else. In fact, I probably penalized, according to Mama, I penalized Ryan. Ryan broke in the lineup halfway through his freshman year. According to Mama, he should have started his freshman year.
But that's universal, right?
Yep.
According to some of the dads, they went along with what she was saying. But I gave the juniors and seniors the first look, and they were going to play unless they showed they couldn't play. And Ryan worked at pitcher, center field, outfield, and first base. And my 2 first basemen were not doing the job, and he went in. And when he went in, and I decided I'm going to pick the right moment where it's a win-win situation to put him in. Of course, when I decided to put him in, it was against Temple, and they were leading the district at the time when you played your first game. And I put him in the game, and Joey Hart, who had a cannon for an arm, best, he was as good a pro prospect as I ever coached. And I think they had the tie-in run on second base in the bottom of the 7th, and Gordo struck out the last batter, and it got away from Joey toward the first base dugout over there, which cut down the distance from 90 to about 75 feet. And Ryan's at first base, for his first varsity ball game, and Joey buries one in the dirt. There's 2 outs, runners running. Gordo struck the guy out. Had that ball gone into the outfield, it was tied up. And Ryan sitting there, Joey buried the thing, and Ryan just went like this, game over. And I looked at Skip, and I said, he's ready to stay over there at first base. But Ryan made it easy for me because, you know, I was real apprehensive about coaching him, when he came into high school. But he made it easy for me because he was he was always at the top on the running conditioning. He'd finish first. When we'd do challenges, he'd finish first, and he was a freshman. And it was just because he wanted it so bad. And you had some of those upperclassmen that I've got my position. I'll just go about 3/4 speed and everything. I'm all right. Coach will, you know, coach knows that I'm going to hit. The coach knows that I'm going to get the job done and all that. Well, he didn't. He's a freshman. He goes out there and he leads everything. So, you know, wasn't really. I If there was a question, I don't think I know I never heard about it.
Yep.
When I ended up putting him in, but Mama still thinks that he should have gone in sooner than I decided to put him in.
So we could do this all night. So I'm just going to wrap it up before we get into Ryan.
I can
Right.
get good and long.
I could keep this going, right? Because the state championship was a Texas powerhouse, Lubbock, Monterey. Coach Bobby Mogul, who is the winningest coach in U.S. high school history.
Yep.
And you came home with that confidence. I think my question was going to be like, how did you get the team up for it? But you already answered it. You had a stacked 1-9 in the batting order. You had the confidence that everyone was going to pick you up no matter what.
We weren't going to change
Yeah.
what we did. I did very little scouting in my coaching career. If we take care of our business, it doesn't matter what they do. The only thing is Coach Magel, he saw what we did the night before against a good arm, 10-run ruling. Who was that?
Corpus Christi Moody.
Moody.
They threw a D1 guy against us, and we run ruled them.
And the old Sly Fox, Coach Magel, throws a little lefty
that hadn't even hardly pitched in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was 1-2 on the season. He could barely get it to the plate, and all my guys started popping the ball up, and I kept telling them, of course, I made them take a strike, but that little guy could throw strikes, so, they got one strike on him, and then they'd try to wail away, and I kept telling them, this guy's going to make you look bad if you keep. And they weren't being coachable for the first time all year. They weren't being coachable. They were going to go up there and just rip from their rear. And
As every kid does
So-
when they see a slow pitcher.
so I said, okay, we're going to break out the small ball. And so I started making them bunt, steal, double steals,
We squeezed the run.
squeezed the run in, and we got up on them. I think 4-1 or something like that, wasn't it? And no, it was,
Sheets hit that triple in the gap.
and and then when we got up on them, then I turned them loose, and by then they were all going into their second or third at bat, and they were relaxed and everything, and they just, and we ended up scoring 7.
Nice.
But it looked bleak the first 3 innings because it looked like everybody was just going to swing out of their shoes and make that kid look bad. So we broke out the small ball and got 3 or 4 runs, and then after that, I said, "Okay, now I feel comfortable." Ryan's pumping it pretty good, and so I took off a lot of that stuff, and we started. We added 3 or 4 more runs.
Yep. So I'm going to get into Ryan now. We're going to bring you on. We're going to bring you on for some of the games, like especially when we're playing Cedar Ridge. We have an extra mic. We'll have to throw you on. We can talk all game.
That's going to be interesting when I'm in purple and instead of maroon, I'm in purple. Yeah.
It'll be fun.
You're going to do that to me?
Yes,
You're gonna
Last,
of course.
you're gonna hear him cussing his grandson on air.
you don't know how that felt last year at Dragon Diamond sitting over there on the visitor side.
It was a
I
weird look.
felt so weird. You know, it's just like, I don't belong over here on this side. And then I got to thinking, yeah, I do, because my grandson's over here. So, you know, but it was so weird sitting in that visitor's dugout. You know, back when we never fixed up their bullpen or anything over in the visitor side. We just
still haven't.
You know,
Johnny's got it way nicer than Dad had it.
oh, I tell you what, the old net that we had down the right field line, it was all torn down. And y'all want to take some extra cuts, go down there. And, you know, there were holes in it.
It was like half a cage.
You know. But,
So Pflugerville.
Yeah, that's right.
All righty. So Ryan, right? Big shoes to follow. But like we said, 1998 Major League Baseball third-round draft pick by the Atlanta Braves, had previously been committed to the University of Texas. 96 All-State, batting .442. 1997, they win the state championship. All-State, batted .427 with 11 wins as a pitcher, including that state championship, which we talked about. 1998 All-State team for the third time. Nike All-American, 1998 Texas High School All-Star Game, and Texas Player of the Year with a .512 batting average. So for all the rock hardball players out here, I know there's quite a few out here, that's the bar. So sophomore year, .442, a little bit of a disappointment, .427 junior year with a state championship, and then up to .512 batting average your senior year. So there, you've kind of set a pretty high bar there.
Still holds the triple record in the state tournament.
Yeah.
3 in one game.
Three triples in one game.
What was his freshman average?
It wasn't there.
I think it was two. I think I was one of those
250.
200 hitters he was talking about bunting a lot. When
A lot of bunts.
Yeah, he was.
That's awesome.
I did get the bunt a lot as a freshman, I think.
All right. So, Ryan, out of high school, you would go on to play Atlanta Braves, Oakland Athletics, Washington Nationals, Seattle Mariners, the Los Angeles Angels, and the Toronto Blue Jays. So let's talk a little bit your family, your wife, kids.
Yeah. Wife Sherry, she graduated Round Rock High School in '99. We did not date in high school. We started dating when she was at Texas A&M. And then Kaysen was born in '09, and Kyler was born in 2012. They're 7th grade and sophomore. I'm a little disappointed Kaysen's not playing football anymore, but that's another issue.
What was it like growing up? So you grew up, I'm assuming, in the 80s with your dad coaching at Round Rock, doing home run contests to get out of running with Jeff
And a
Wartha.
Yeah. I remember watching a few of those back in the day. Yeah, I was always running around being the bat boy. Pitchers were trying to get me to keep the pitching chart for them. They would pawn it off on me until either he or Coach Richardson would catch them and be like, "No, this is y'all's job. Stop putting it on that youngster." But I just always loved being around the game. I was one of those kids that just from an early age I wanted to play in the big leagues, and I was the one that would first day of school say, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I would say a Major League Baseball player, and the teacher would say, "Pick something more realistic," and it was just something that always drove me.
So who did you look up to? And I'm talking Round Rock. Think like, is there any of the Round Rock players that you looked up to back when you were a little kid catching balls?
Probably because I was getting old enough. I was kind of that middle school age and out there shagging fly balls during practice. There was a lot of them, but probably the one that I would say that Dad would probably say stood out the most was Brett Leffler. I thought he was right-handed, but I loved watching him play center field. And, Dad always wanted me to spread out and kind of try to punch the ball, and Brett had more of an upright stance and would let it loose. And I just kind of liked emulating that, and then played around with that one time. He's like, "Why are you holding your hands like that?" I was like, "It feels better. I appreciate the way you're trying to get me to hit, but it feels better." And so just
And that's when he took off. Is when he started swinging like Leffler. See, Leffler I always ask him, why do you hold your hands so high? Brett would, and he says, because my arms are long and I don't like being crunched up like this. I like to do like that. And I told Ron, I said, you're built just like Brett. Why don't you try that? And man, did he take off when he started doing that.
But there was, I mean, I can go back and just think of all of the, some of the teams when I was real young with Coach Carter and DJ Swaldo and Jason Hart, and then you got into the years with Manbeck and McLeod and Odell and Danny Peoples and all those guys. I mean, there's guys from the mid '80s all the way through now. Just the tradition and the it's really about the program as a whole. I mean, just there's been guys coming along that have left their mark on the program since I was younger than Kyler, since I was running around as an 8 and 9 year old in the dugout.
I love the fact you said Brett. I got to know him, spend a summer with him, with our boys playing summer ball together. Great, great guy. So playing for your dad, right? Going through today, your dad wasn't only a legend in the coaching, he was a legend at Texas, and before that, a legend in the high school baseball ranks. So what was it like now playing for your dad, growing up with him,
It was awesome. I mean, I remember he got to coach. He and Larry Peoples got to coach a team one season, and it was the only season he was able to, he kind of was able to tell Larry like, "I'll be your assistant and be there when I can." But then during the All-Star season in the summer, he got to actually coach us, which was kind of cool. I think that was when I was 12 years old,
I knew this story was coming.
and then he got on me one time about something. I wasn't giving enough effort or whatever, and he was on me, and I think I was like 3 for 4 or something that game, and I was like, if it's not, I told him, I was like, if it's not good enough for you, I'll go to Westwood and I'm going to kick your butt every time we play against you. And so I think that showed him a little bit of my competitiveness at an early age. I mean, I think no kid likes their dad picking on the one at bat that they didn't get a hit after they felt like they just had a good game. But, I don't know. I always was excited about getting that opportunity, and I got to watch him. I think it meant a lot to me to be a part of that team that got over the hump, because I got to watch like 3 or 4 times him be right there on the doorstep, and that was kind of cool for me.
we're gonna dive into that. So now you're wearing a Dragons jersey. Um, let's get into that a little bit. What did it mean going through wearing a jersey? I was going to ask you your fondest memories, but I'm going to combine the questions here to kind of accelerate a little bit. What was it wearing a jersey for your dad, with your dad? You know what I mean? Like being there, doing that journey with him.
It was great. I knew I had to earn my spot, and I think I didn't mind biding my time. I mean, he tells the story like I don't think I ever was sitting there like I should be in there. I should be in there. It was just coming to practice every day, and I'm going to take the best round of fungo in the outfield I can, and I'm going to go try to pick every ball at first base I can. And I knew at the time, like my bat, I just wasn't as strong as the older guys, but I had the confidence that if I could get in there, I could compete against them. And I think once I got the taste of that in the upperclassmen, I was blessed to have great upperclassmen, and that's one thing I always encourage guys, like, you know, if you have a bad experience with upperclassmen, don't be that guy. If you have a great experience with them, just remember that and bring those young guys along that way. And I was blessed to have a great group of upperclassmen that really, they didn't ever razz me about my dad being the coach. They saw, how I came to work every day at practice. And so then to have some success early on, mostly on the defensive side of the ball, I felt like I belonged and just kind of carried that confidence with me, from there moving forward.
So 29 years, really a 29-year separation. You hit the same decision. You're committed to UT just like your dad, right? Love, obviously, your grandfather, your dad has of UT, and you got a chance to go pro. What was that process like? What was it that gave you the confidence of like, hey, I can go make this here?
it was kind of a roller coaster, to be honest. I mean, I think going into the year, I'd had some success at some national events before my senior year and was confident. But then, you saw some of the stuff coming out, and it was like, not pretty highly rated, but not in the realm of where it was going to be worth passing up an opportunity to play at Texas. And then, so I was just like, hey, I'm going to go enjoy my senior year, and after that, get ready for it. And I had a pretty big strength jump, I think, that senior year, and started hitting a lot more home runs, and that started catching some people's attention. And I had already actually kind of started going down and doing some workouts with the University of Texas strength staff, because I think that was kind of the transition with Coach Garrido, and they didn't make a regional that year, so some of the guys that were returning were working out on campus, and so I was going and jumping in with that. And then the Braves just started getting really interested, and I think just seeing some of the culture. I mean, that was, right in the heyday of the Braves '90s stretch, and I think just some of the culture stuff that they had in place, and talking to some scouts, and then just they had some coaches and front office people talk to me. I was like, this is, if they're willing to make it worth my while, this is, if these guys draft me, this is going to be a hard decision. And of course, they were the ones that drafted me, and I was like, it's, I'll never forget Charlie Smith, the scout that signed me. He was like, at the end of the day, he was like, kind of a little bit back to what Dad went through. He's like, is your end dream to be an All-American at the University of Texas or to be a big leaguer? And I was like, I want to be a big leaguer. And so that once those things started falling into place, I think the decision was a little bit easier.
You
I
good
guess I wanted to be an All-American at Texas.
Josh, you good for 5 minutes? Awesome. Awesome. All right. So let's talk a little bit about you get to the pros. Derek Jeter was famous for saying he called his mom and dad and said, I want to come home. Like homesick, 18, 19 years old. You find yourself in spring training or in camp, rookie camp, right? What's that like? Did you have that homesick? Were you just, hey, go get it? What was that experience
I
like?
think probably the one time I had that a little bit was my second full season of pro ball. I was in high A in the Carolina League and facing a lot of guys that were coming out of, I was still, I think 19, had just turned 20 at the time, and facing a lot of really good arms that were coming out of, Clemson, Florida State, A&M, all the premier programs, and they were just a little bit ahead of, of where I had experienced so far, and I really, really struggled for the first time, I think, in my baseball career since ever. And so that was a tough time. And I think during those times, I think they did a good job of managing, like just letting me talk, and Dad did a good job of kind of waiting for me to be like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. Like, what do you got? Because I was stubborn sometimes. Like I didn't want to, if I called home and I was in a little bit of a funk, I didn't want to, necessarily hear what he had to say about what he thought I should do. Cause I would be like, well, these guys are telling me this and everything. But during that stretch, I was definitely like, okay, hey, we might need to go back to ground zero here to figure this out, cause I'm really struggling.
Which major leaguer during all the you played for 5 teams? Was it 5? So
think it's 5
which major leaguer or major leaguers had the biggest impact on you, on your person, the character, the husband, father, the baseball player that you were?
That's probably hard to pinpoint. One of my good buddies, Adam LaRoche, probably had one of the best mentalities, and I tried to, like, I was really competitive. He almost came across as not competitive at times, because he had his ability to like flip that switch, like when the game was over, whether he was 4 for 4 or 0 for 4, just tremendous about like, hey, I got a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old that don't give a crap what just happened out here. And he had a great disposition to be able to like flip that switch on and off. Getting to spend time in the clubhouse for 2.5 years, 3 years with Chipper Jones, I think he's obviously a great talent and a Hall of Famer, but just his mind for like going and breaking down video and scouting reports was huge for me as a young player, and being able to kind of get me over the hump and give me the ability to stay around for a while. And then 2 guys in Seattle, I would say, Adrian Beltre and Ken Griffey. Now, Griffey was at the end of his career, obviously, but just seeing how those guys treated everybody day to day. I mean, both Hall of Famers, but but just they'd say hi to the guy that washed the laundry, the guy that cooked the dinner, the superstars, everybody every day, and just they treated everybody the same, and that was something that always stuck with me.
I love it. All right, April 2, couple more quick questions. April 2002, you're with the AA Greenville Braves. Tell us about getting the call. You're now going to the show.
Yeah, I actually thought there was a ball that night that we were in Huntsville, Alabama, and I thought there was a ball they ruled an error, and I was like, the guy dove for it. How do they give me an error? I think I had a little hitting streak going or something, and ended up over. And I asked the manager after the game, I was like, hey, can you call up there and just check on that, like see if they'll change that, like. And I hated doing that, but it was just kind of one of those like deals. And so he get out of the shower and they say, hey, Snit wants to see you in the office, and I figured he was calling to let me know, let me know that he'd reached out about that. And yeah, calls me in there and he's like, hey, he's like, you're getting to go to Atlanta. And I was kind of like, what? It wasn't even on my radar at the time. He was like, it's going to probably be a pretty short stint. The AAA team's up in Ottawa. They're not going to be able to get a guy down there for the next 2 days. And so it's going to probably be a couple days and then back here, but you're getting to go. And so it was pretty great. Got to call them and I told them, I was like, y'all are welcome to come out if you want, but it's literally like they've told me like doesn't matter if I get in the game and go 4-for-4 tomorrow, I'm gonna be coming back to AA, when they get this veteran from AAA down. But it was a dream come true, obviously. And with that game, I got to pinch hit late in the game, and we were getting beat by the Astros by a fair bit. And Ned Yost, who went on to coach manage the Royals, he was going to coach third, and I pinch hit like in the bottom of the 8th or something. And I was like, hey, we're down by, and this gets back to his mentality. I was like, we're down by like 6. Do I need to take a strike right here? He was like, this is your big league debut, right? And I was like, yes, sir. He was like, try to hit a home run. He goes, oh. He goes, at that day, he was like, this is just one game out of 162. It's like, you only get to do this once. So I flew out to right field, but it was a great experience.
So back then, 18 rookie players, nicknamed, if I'm not mistaken, what was it, the Baby Braves?
The Baby Braves. We had a bunch of rookies on that 2005 bunch.
So we go September 5th, first hit against Pittsburgh Pirates. And then what about August 7th versus J.P. Howell, bottom of the 11th? Your first ever walk-off major league in the 11th inning?
Yeah, that was not too long after I'd gotten traded to Seattle, and I was just a big, especially against lefty relievers, I was like, I'm going to sit on, unless it was just something I didn't feel like I could hit, I was going to sit on their breaking pitch the whole at bat, hope they made a mistake with it, and just try to fight the fastball off as best I could the whole at bat. And luckily he hung a slider and I didn't miss it.
We got to do a podcast because I could go all night. So I'm going to go 2 quick questions with you and we'll wrap it up here. 2014, you returned to the Sugarland Skeeters. Mm-hmm. You're a father now, 2 kids, 2 boys, husband. You decide it's time to retire. What was that decision like? Was that a tough to come to that decision?
It was a little bit. I'd gotten to get back to the big leagues in 2013 with the Blue Jays and was hoping, didn't get many calls. They were wanting to make sure my shoulder was, it sounds like they were wanting to make sure my shoulder was healthy. I separated it again early in the season with Sugarland. I could tell, bat speed wasn't quite there the way it had been in the past. And the last couple months of that season, I just wasn't getting to see, Sherry was back home with both the boys, that she'd come down and, for long homestands and everything. But I mean, it got to a point where I was getting on a flight, at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning to fly halfway across the country. And I hadn't seen I think Kyler was 18 months, almost 2 years old at the time. And I hadn't gotten to see him in 4 weeks, 6 weeks. And I was just like, what am I doing right now? Like if I felt like I had a really good chance to get back to the big leagues, I would have probably kept going. But at the end of the day, I just got to where I was like, I was missing those little guys a lot.
Priorities. All right, last question. Did you ever get the itch to follow your dad and your grandfather into high school coaching? I
thought about it for a minute. When I got away from the game, I had some opportunities to go coach pro ball, and I wanted to spend time with the family. And then once, it took a couple of years of kind of doing that, of like just kind of going and watching them play and not really being too involved in coaching, and then kind of got the itch, and I thought it, made sense. I thought the easiest path at that time was to just kind of coach some of these high school guys in the summer and coach my kids in the spring and in the stuff that they were doing. And so I've really enjoyed that. To get back to what he said, I mean, it's kind of, there's a lot of other stuff, but when you're out there on the field with the guys and you see them succeed in something you're trying to get them to do, there's just it's hard to put it into words, but anybody that's done it before knows the feeling.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much.
Appreciate you.
Great
having
coach
us.
Langerhans, Ryan Langerhans,
Thank you, Bob.
Rock
Appreciate
Hardball
it.
legend. Thank you
Thank you.
guys.
Appreciate you having us, Bob. We'll let this stud get on now.
Okay, so that's your control right here. Right here is your control, the third one. So if it's loud, you're gonna hear yourself and me. All right. If it's too loud,
Oh, it's good.
all right, good. All righty. So that was great, and I thought it was perfect to start off with Josh. Okay, Josh Horvath. Game Time Broadcasting, Rock Hardball. Out Tuesday, I get there, and there's a bunch of Major League Scouts watching you.
Yes.
What's that like? Take me through that feeling. You just had two legends, former longtime Major Leaguer, walk off, and now you're on the door of your journey. Whether that's Weatherford, whether that's a July draft, we don't know. But what's that feel like? Like, take me through your mindset.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing for sure. I give all the glory to God. But yeah, I mean, honestly, that day when all the scouts were watching, Coach Carter, let me know probably 20 minutes before I threw my bullpen. He's like, there's a bunch of scouts here and they want to watch your bullpen. I'm like, okay. So it was like, I had to mentally prepare pretty fast. But I mean, once I was on the mound, I was just doing my thing and, doing what I've been doing. And that's all I got to do. So, I mean, it's a blessing to have all these scouts watch me. And, yeah, it's awesome.
So where do you learn that? Like, you can't teach that. There's no textbook to how old are you?
18.
So you're 18
Yes.
years old. You got the not pressure. You got the excitement of college coming, senior year, a great baseball team,
Yes.
high hopes, standards set pretty high. Where did you learn that? Okay, I've got a job to do. I don't care what scouts here. I don't care who's watching me. I just got to go do my job. How do you get there?
Yeah, I mean, for me, faith is a big one. Just putting my trust in God and kind of taking the pressure off me. That's the biggest one for me. But also, I feel like when it happens over and over again, you kind of get used to it, I guess. But I mean, your mindset doesn't change of doing what you have to do. But yeah, for me, faith is number one, 100%.
I love it. And we'll also talk about. All righty. Let's talk a little bit. What's your earliest memories of playing baseball?
Yeah. Honestly, when I played baseball when I was younger, I wasn't the best. I mean, I feel like I kind of got good later. But I've always loved baseball, and no one in my family's really played baseball, so I was kind of the first one. My dad and mom kind of just threw me in there, and were like, let's try baseball. Why not? Yeah, honestly, I wasn't very good, but I started getting better in high school when I started growing and being on some better teams and playing with better people. But yeah.
So going back to earlier, when you actually thought of yourself as a high school senior, okay, what did you envision yourself? Did you think you'd be this pitcher throwing a 95, 96 mile an hour fastball?
No way, honestly. I mean, when I was a freshman, I was 78 miles an hour. So, I mean, that's pretty good as a freshman, but I did not expect to be throwing 95. But I mean, just working hard and being intentful with what I do and Yeah, putting trust in God has helped me for sure.
Love it. So, what position did you enjoy playing the most?
Outfield. Outfield's fun, but I love pitching the most now. But I still play outfield some, so playing outfield's fun too.
Excellent. All right, let me jump here. Let's talk a little bit about coaches or dad, mom, who had the most impact on your journey on first of all your Christian walk,
Yes.
and number two, most important, your Christian walk, but your baseball journey. Who's had the biggest impact on that?
For me, it's been my dad. He's been huge for me. I think just the mental side of everything and just kind of letting me know like I can't mess it up every day. I mean, sometimes I put too much pressure on myself, but him letting me know I can't mess it up and um, like it's all in God's hands. I mean, I think that's a huge weight off your shoulders. Um, and that goes for both faith and baseball, I think. I mean, baseball is a very mental sport, so um, yeah.
How do you like to? What is your ritual to mentally prepare yourself for a game?
For me, I always go like get alone, close my eyes, just visualize dominating, visualize throwing strikes. I'll pray, but I mean, I'm not a very superstitious person, so I think just like getting warmed up and not thinking too much about it is big for me.
You mean the entire world isn't decided by what color shirt you
Exactly.
wear or the
Yes.
sock you put on? Wow.
Yes.
No, we're not the center of the universe. Um, what does your daily routine look like during the season?
Yeah, during the season, I'd wake up at probably like 9 o'clock. So I wake up at 9 o'clock. I try to stay off my phone in the morning. I'll do a Bible study, have a good breakfast, go through school, and then get to baseball practice. And we'll go through practice. Usually for my warming up for throwing, I have like my own warm up routine. I'll do plyo balls, bands, shoulder tube, full dynamic. And I have my own throwing routine every day. So like for pitching days, I'll play catch to 120 feet. Then I'll throw my bullpen. It's nothing too extreme. That's about it. Yeah.
And how about the off season? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, the off season is a lot of lifting, a lot of eating, and just getting my arm ready. So I'll go through a whole ramp up. It's probably about 3 months long, starting from just playing catch and then long tossing and doing velo stuff. So that's about it.
All right, let's talk a little bit teamwork, leadership, etc. How would your teammates and coaches describe you?
They would say I work really hard. I think that's a big one. They would say I lead by example. I'm not the loudest guy, but I try to lead by example. That's what they'd probably say about me.
And where did you learn to lead? To set the example, to get this work ethic. What instilled that in you?
Definitely my parents. I mean, my mom, 100%. She's always doing so much for me. I mean, she cooks for me a lot. She does my laundry. She does so much for me. And I don't see a lot of what she does, but she just leads by great examples every day.
So let's talk a little bit about your recruiting process. What does that look like? How did you come? How did Weatherford come
Yeah,
along?
yeah. So honestly, my recruiting was it wasn't late, but I mean, you saw a lot of these guys. They throw 90 and then they commit right away. But for me, I decided to wait until this last fall. And I had a lot of offers. I had some D1s like Texas State and some other schools. But for me, the reason I chose Weatherford was playing time. And yeah, honestly, playing time because I'll get to pitch a lot there. And that's the biggest part for development. Like people say, go to a D1 and you develop. But for me, I need to pitch. So that's the reason I chose Weatherford. And after 1 year, I could get drafted or I could go to a D1. So, or 2 years.
Yeah, and not to mention the way the rules and eligibility. You go 2 years, you put on more size, you make that adjustment. Weatherford's an amazing program.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then you still have that 4 years of eligibility if
Yes.
you choose to go that D1. Where did Weatherford find you? Where did they see you? Did you know they were there? Was it a surprise? What was that?
So they were kind of recruiting me last spring a little bit. I mean, he would text me, the coach would, Judd Kinsey would, but he saw some videos on Twitter, and then this summer he was at like every one of my club team's games, so he got to see me a lot pitching this summer. And then this fall, when I kind of had a velo jump up to 95, that's when he's like, "Okay, let's get you on a visit." And I went on the visit. It was great. Got to meet a lot of the players and see all the facilities, meet the coaches, watch practice, and I mean, it was awesome.
So, I mean, it's a great program. It's
Oh,
an
yeah.
amazing program. Um, let's talk this year. What's your personal goals for this upcoming season?
Yeah, personal goal is state champ. Obviously, I think we can do it. Honestly, we have so much depth on our team. It's like every position there's so much competition, and it's like no one's job is safe. And I think that's super good. It pushes everyone to be better, and you can see it every day at practice and in our scrimmages, in our games. It's like there's just competition everywhere, and that's going to help us, especially when we get into district and playoffs. It's going to push us to be better. So that's a goal. Another goal is to throw 97 off the mound. I'm pretty close, but I think that'll happen eventually. And yeah, there's some more goals, but I think state champs is very doable for us. So I'm excited.
I like it. I like it. What needs to come together? For first step, we got to win district.
Yes.
So what needs to come together for the 2026 Dragons to be the 25-6A district champ?
Yes. I mean, I think we got a lot good going right now, but what needs to come together is I think that's a good question. I think everyone needs to be fully invested. I think most people are, and I think once everyone like knows we can do it and has the confidence that we can do it, then I mean nothing's gonna hold us back. And this is a really fun team. It's a lot of fun every day at practice. I mean the games are so fun. So I mean I think we have the chemistry to do it, and yeah.
Love it. Okay, let's do a little speed round here. What's your pregame hype song?
Yeah, pregame hype song. Let me think. My pitching song is a big one. "Money for Nothing" by Dire Straits.
Dire Straits.
It's a very good one.
One
Yeah.
of the best guitar riffs ever.
Oh yeah, it's great.
You don't have superstition. Is there anything you do diet wise, eat, anything like that on game
Yeah.
days that are?
Yeah, one big thing is I drink these beet juices. So I'll have probably 3 on the days that I pitch. I'll drink one 30 minutes before I pitch. And then after the second inning, I'll drink like half of one. And then after the fourth, I'll drink another half. And then after the game, I'll drink another full juice. So that's kind of one that I've been sticking to.
Okay, so one of the things I love about you, you got a kind of a tough, right? You're looking at your pitching, you're hitting 95, you have major league scouts watching you, yet you're selfless enough to put yourself out there. You're playing in the outfield, you're swinging a great bat, you're all in. It reminds me of, I mean, I'm a Yankee fan.
Yes.
It reminds me of Derek Jeter, right? Derek Jeter, his senior year, knew he was going to be a major league pick, sprains his ankle, and he's like, tape it up.
Oh, yeah.
We're winning.
Yes.
What is it how do you balance that mentality, like out there, like, no, I'm all in for this year and winning this state championship?
I mean, you only have one chance at this. As a senior now, it's like this is last year. So I think just putting everything on the line and not holding anything back, because I wouldn't want to like the year to end and me to be like, oh, I could have done this, I could have done this. So I'm just, putting everything on the line and doing everything I can to win and be there for the team.
What batter on the team hits the ball the hardest?
Me, but other than me, right now Luke Rod's hitting really good. So
Luke Rod's really
yes.
good. Okay, game's on the line, bottom of the 7th inning. For 25-6A district game, who do you want in the batter's box?
Luke Rod, as of
Luke
right now.
Rod.
Yep, Luke Rod.
Awesome. Who do you want on the mound? Not named Josh Orbat.
Yes. Omar Rodriguez.
Love it. All right. Who's pushed you to be better this year?
I mean, everyone on the team has pushed me. My dad's pushed me a lot. Coach Carter, Coach Rod, they've pushed me a lot. Yeah. It's nice having a lot of people that push you. It just helps you get a lot better.
So we heard Ryan Langerhans talk about, and he said it to his boys. He said it to the kids he coaches. Remember who you really liked as a freshman, what they did. Remember what they didn't. So now you're a senior. Let's go back and talk to some of these freshmen. What would you love to tell yourself 4 years ago that you could tell the freshmen or sophomores that are out there?
Yeah.
Looking back.
I would just tell myself to have fun. I know that's kind of like, you hear that a lot, but I mean, not caring so much about everything and just having fun is how you should play baseball. I mean, when I do that, it's so much more fun when you just don't care and you're just out there just doing your thing.
Well, I mean, and you said it, right? You said you weren't the best player.
Yeah.
You said freshman year, you're throwing 98 miles an hour. Now you've got, for a 3:00 bullpen session, you've got people coming out to watch. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
All righty. Looking at the team this year, who's the funniest one in the locker room?
Funniest one in the locker room. I have to think about this one. Let's see. Drew Hearthcock's pretty funny.
Who
Yeah.
talks the most? Nonstop.
Luke Rod talks a lot. Yeah.
Who is the most gullible?
The most gullible, Diego Nunez.
Diego Nunez.
Yeah.
Diego, you get called a lot, buddy. Nicknames. What's your favorite nickname? Could be a teammate, pro, yours, anything.
Diego's nickname's pretty good. Wobby.
Wobby?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to ask. I'll ask you when I interview you again. We already asked that one. Favorite baseball movie?
Moneyball.
Favorite romantic comedy? Come on, you know you like one.
10 Things I Hate About You.
All right. Last song you listened to?
Last song I listened to. White Horse by Chris Stapleton.
All right. My wife hates this question. If you could go on a date with one actress,
Okay.
who would it be?
Scarlett Johansson.
Like it. All right. Last question. If you could spend a day watching baseball with one person, dead or alive,
Yeah.
could be anybody, who would it be?
Nolan Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's kind of local.
He is
That
kind of
could
local.
happen.
Yeah. Right?
Awesome. Josh, this has been great.
Thank
you,
you.
buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Rock Hardball on deck here with Jace Kivett,
Yes, sir.
who I get yelled at all the time because I add an S to your last name, and my wife is always texting me, it is not Kivett's. Jace Kivett. All right. So tell me a little bit. Earliest baseball memories.
Earliest baseball memories, probably my older brother. Just watching him play, seeing him grow up. I mean, I got to watch him play at Round Rock, so probably just watch my older brother play.
So one of the things I love about Jace, why I wanted to interview him, reminds me of Ian, my youngest, right? In the fact that he's the third boy, grew up on a baseball field, and more specifically around Rock Hardball. What is your earliest memories of being out at Dragon Diamond?
I mean, I remember it all. I remember being there when I was little, playing wall ball with the other kids that were there, and I remember watching my brother go to the state tournament. Like that's really special to me because he's always been such a big role model for me, and so now that I'm here, like it really is special that my brother got to do the same things I'm getting to do.
So now, did he play football as well? Because up until this year, you were a two,
Yes, sir.
you lettered in two sports.
Yes, sir. He played football up until his sophomore year, and he ended up quitting.
Excellent. Now you were you were a starter. You were a heck of a football player. This year, you made the decision to go baseball. Take me through that decision a little bit.
It was really all just about my recruiting process and just being able to go to showcases and having that extra free time to focus on baseball because it was pretty challenging playing football and then having to switch the gears and just go back to baseball and get my swing down again, So it was.
Excellent. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to the recruiting process, but let's talk a little bit as a player. What is your earliest memory as a player?
My earliest memory as a player.
Like, could be rec league, could be playing select. I know you were Titans for many years.
Yeah, probably Titans. Playing with my best friends at Titans. It's probably my favorite memory, and yeah, easily my favorite memory. Just playing with Jack, Cade, Luke Rod. I got to play with all these guys.
So back in those days when you envisioned yourself as a senior at Round Rock High School, where were you playing in your mind? Where did you see yourself playing? This is
Honestly,
the young you, not now, not the ninth grader. This is the younger.
I thought I was gonna be a shortstop when I was little, so I definitely thought I was gonna be in the infield. But
When did you make that transition to outfield?
I made that transition when I got to high school. Actually, when I started playing for Round Rock, they put me in the outfield because I was fast, and then it just stuck. And I told my summer ball coaches I'm playing outfield at Round Rock, so they put me out there as well.
Was that tough for you?
It was tough. It was a tough transition because I do all like the work for infield, and then I had to switch positions. But
Hey, it's worked out. I mean,
yes, sir.
we don't beat Reagan in that game 3 if you don't make a couple of those diving catches and then
Sure.
come back with that clutch hit. So we talked about that. All right, mental toughness. How does the 3 years that you played, I know the last one you were varsity, how did that prepare you for baseball and vice versa? Like how did you go from this baseball and training and building up and then switch it to come over to play baseball?
Like going from football to baseball.
Yeah. I mean, because you're not in the baseball class, you've got friends in both groups. Like, how do you balance that and keep those friendships? And
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, I had Jack and Luke in football, so that was really nice to have them. But I mean, the mental side, it prepared me a lot. Playing football prepared me a lot. In baseball, you don't have to go out there and hit these big guys, so it just wasn't as intimidating when I got on the diamond because I was just so used to a big football stadium, the band playing and all that. So it really did help with the environment and my mentality.
Um, let's say in baseball, you get into a slump mentally. What is your approach? How do you come out of that slump? How do you break a slump?
The second I get in this slump, I just text my older brother. I tell him what I think's going wrong, and he tries to help me. And I go to my hitting coach, and I'll talk to him about it. And it's just trying to just simplify things and not think too hard about it.
What's your most memorable moment on a baseball field?
Oh, it's got to be the Reagan game. It's got to be the Reagan game. Hitting that double was so much fun. Like, just thinking about it, I get chills.
That was
It was a
awesome.
great moment.
That was one of the best broadcasts ever because we just kind of held the mic out of the window and everyone was going ballistic. That was a good time. Leadership. How would your teammates and coaches describe you?
I think they would describe me as a hard worker. I mean, sometimes I'm a little vocal, but not that often. So just someone leads by example. I just try to go out there and just do the right things for my teammates.
You mentioned your brother. Is there he or anyone else? How have they helped form your leadership style of who you are today?
Mm, I feel like, well, my older brothers would they really get on me if I messed up. So I feel like I try to do that for my teammates. Like, if I see you mess up, I'm gonna go talk to you. Like, I'm not gonna be afraid about it. But that's just how my brothers were with me.
Who's the best athlete in your family?
Best athlete in my family. Probably my older brother.
Older brother. I love it,
Yeah.
dude. That's we all look up to our older brother.
hmm
I still do myself. Um, what's your routine look like on the off season?
Oh, so my routine was just trying to gain weight, eating a lot of food. I was going to a workout place with a few of my buddies, and yeah, just trying to get bigger and stronger for the season. And then as it gets closer, trying to get the swing back and
Yep.
get the feels.
I saw you doing the lunges. How much weight did you have? You had a 60
Oh,
pound vest and 100-pound dumbbells.
it was 240, yes sir.
That was insane. My knees hurt watching. How about during the baseball season?
During the baseball season, just getting the arm back into shape is the biggest thing, and my hands, swinging the bat again so they don't get cut up, but really just focusing on getting my arm back into shape and getting used to throwing again.
Cool. What skills are you working on right now?
What skills am I working on right now?
If you had to pinpoint and say, here's one thing for me to go to the next level. This is what I'm working on today.
I'd say consistency. Just staying consistent in the box.
Excellent. All right, future goals. All right. I know you have several offers on the table.
Yes, sir.
Again, we're not saying anything. You haven't announced anything. So the question is more along the lines of what's that process been like? The people that you're getting offers or interest from, where are they seeing you? Where did they see you? Did you even know they were, like Jack Oppel had a great one where Hills College, he didn't know they were even there until afterwards and they reached out.
Yeah, so I actually went to it was a showcase and we played 2 games, and both my offers, the coaches, they were both there, and I just happened to ball it out, and they texted me the next day, and just good from there.
Excellent. What is your personal goals for this upcoming year, this upcoming season?
Personal goals, I would like to bat above 300, and I'd like to at least give me 1 home run.
You got to get to 512. That was the bar, right? We all agree the bar was 512. No, I'm kidding. What needs to come together to make the 2026 Dragons 25-6A district champions? What has to happen? What has to align?
I mean, the belief's there. Obviously, our goal is to go past that, go to the state championship. I think we just need to stay where our feet are and just take a game one step at a time and just keep it the main thing. And I think we can do that. I mean, we all believe it. We know what we're capable of. So just stand where our feet are and just step by step.
Awesome. All right, let's go to some speed rounds here. What is your pregame hype song?
Really, really walk-up song. I love that song, Kevin Gates.
Which batter do you want in the box? Game on the line. Playing Reagan. Playing Buda Johnson. Game is on the line.
Give me Jack Up.
I like
Jack
it.
Up.
Deciding game. Who's on the mound?
Brandon Smith.
I like it. Who's a teammate that's pushed you to be better this year?
pushed me to be better. I mean, definitely just the guys I was working out with. So Cade, Drew, Josh, Brandon, and I mean those guys. I was with them a lot in the off season. We were working hard together.
So now you had your brother poured into your life, right? Obviously,
sir.
it was a huge impact. He was a rock hardball player himself. You're now a senior. What are you pouring back into the freshmen? What do you want to go tell your freshman self, or more importantly, to the freshmen and sophomores that are here?
I'd say just keep it a game. It just keep it fun. Just play free. I mean that's when you're at your best is when you're not worried about like what people think of you or what coach is gonna say. Just go out there and have fun. Keep it a game.
It's great. Who's the funniest in the locker room?
Funniest in the locker room, Drew. Drew cracks me up.
Who talks the most nonstop?
Oh, Luke Rod. Dude,
God, that's. I thought it'd be an Omar. I thought it would be an Omar. Who's most gullible?
most gullible. I'm not gonna say Diego. Let me go. Shoot. Probably Slocum. Probably Dylan. Yeah.
Favorite nickname? Could be a
Favorite-
teammate, pro.
Oh, I already knew this one. It's CG. I love saying CG. I like that. Yeah.
All right. Do you have any superstitions?
No, not at all.
Favorite baseball movie?
Sandlot.
Favorite romantic comedy?
Do not have one.
Last song you listened to?
Last song I listened to? Oh, Simple Man. Oh my gosh. Holy cow. Leonard Skinner. Yes.
Favorite musician?
Favorite musician? Drake.
If you go on a date, now if you have a girlfriend, there's only one correct answer. I'm just telling you right now. Do you have a girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay, there's only one correct answer to this question. If you could go on a date with one actress, who would it be?
Give me a young Megan Fox.
That's the wrong answer. That is, I tried. Moms, I gave them a softball here. I love the answer, but the correct answer is none. I love my girlfriend. I like my girlfriend.
Right.
Okay, that's what you said, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All righty. Last question. If you could spend a day watching baseball with any one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
My brother.
I love it.
I'd watch with my brother.
Jace, that's awesome. Appreciate you,
I
buddy.
appreciate it. Yes,
Good
sir.
luck. All right, see if you remember it. All righty. Back with Rock Hardball on deck with Cade Goddard. And this one's a special one to me. I've coached a lot of kids, hundreds of kids in baseball, football over my life. He's the only one I've ever had a handshake with. The only one from when he was little. The quiet assassin, always quiet in here. So this is a really cool one. I've known Cade since preschool, since Council Oak days. I got to coach him for many years. Definitely one of my favorites. So we can bring some out. So were you nervous when I asked you to do this?
A little bit.
Okay. So let's go background. Tell me about your family.
Well, my brother, I think. Well, I think my dad's the reason I started playing baseball, and my brother, because him and both of his brothers played baseball when they were growing up. So that's the reason I started playing.
What's your earliest memory playing?
Probably T-ball on the Rays. I have a picture of it, me walking next to my dad on going to the field.
I remember that. Back as you're growing up now, right? You would go on, you'd play for the Hellcats, and then you would play with GPS back when GPS formed, one of the first original GPS teams, right? So back then, what did you see yourself? What was Cade? What position were you playing when you were a senior in high school? Like, how did you envision yourself?
Well, back then I was like a middle infielder, more like mainly shortstop. So that's where I saw myself playing.
Yep, and that's fair. I mean, when you played for me, you were my shortstop, and then we pushed you into center field because we wanted you to have two, right? We had the luxury of having Coach Rod come out too. So there, all the boys knew, like, we can't send you to Round Rock and have you play one position. So he was center field, outfield, and pitcher.
Yes, sir.
Back in the day. What position did you like playing the most?
I think now I like playing outfield. I just like going to track balls down. But when I was younger, definitely the infield, like shortstop. It was just a fun position to play.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about mental. How do you get in your training, your off season? Like, what did that look like to get ready for high school baseball?
Well, I think like training with all the other guys like Josh, Jace, Drew, Brandon, that really helped me like push me to be better, and like working out, like mentally it tells you not to quit, like push more weight. So that kind of helped me go into the season.
How has your brother, have you guys been competitive your whole life? Do you encourage each other? You know, hey, 2024 alumni playing up at University of Dallas. So he's kind of paved the way for you, like how to make it up the college ranks.
Hmm.
Has he pushed you, encouraged you? Is it a rivalry?
Yeah, we're really competitive. Like at Simone, uh, we like compare like weights against each other. Like
That's awesome.
on the sled pushes and pulls, we like try to do more weight than each other.
You get that from your mom's side, right?
Yeah.
You're in a slump. What is your approach? How do you break a slump?
Well, I've been in a little like a slump recently to start the season. So I went to the cages with my dad and just like reset, just hit off him for.
Does he still have that Rawlings bag that he carries with
He
all the
does,
baseballs
yeah.
in it?
He has a ball that he hit.
From the 1988s. Mentally before a game now. All right. So now starting center fielder, back, last year, this year, you're in the running right there. How do you mentally prepare yourself for a game? Games, they count come Thursday.
Well, the night before, I kind of envisioned myself in the box, like facing the pitcher they're gonna face. Like I envisioned myself getting the pitch I want to hit. That's really it. Just prepare that the night before.
What's your most memorable moment on the field? Could be when you're playing select. It could be summer ball. Could be Round Rock. What's the one play like when your head hits the pillow at night? You're like, I remember that catch, that throw, that hit, whatever it might be.
I think my catch last year against Buda Johnson in the first game of the season. It's like going straight back, diving straight backwards to catch it to save like the tying run.
I remember that. That was a nice one. Leadership. How are your teammates going to describe you?
Well, I'm definitely a quiet person, so I lead by example. And I'm a hard worker, so like, yeah, I just lead by example.
Where did you learn your leadership style? Like where did you learn that? Hey, I don't have to be the most vocal. I don't have to be the loudest. This is where I'm comfortable, and this is how I lead. Like what helped shape you?
I feel like my brother. I feel like he's the same way. He wasn't very vocal. He just led by example by doing the right thing. So I think I just followed in his footsteps.
Excellent. How do you help being quiet? Right, we've got loud ones, and we know who they are, Luke. But how, as a quieter one, right? How do you help boost the team up? Like you're behind, you're playing Buda Johnson. We're down by a run. We're down the Cedar Ridge. Do you have any go-to? Or is there any people that you kind of lean to kind of get everybody back into it?
I think like Jason, Josh. I think they're like two of the most vocal people last year. So I think them two, what I would like probably lean to help me with like to boost everybody up.
What does your off-season training look like? What does it look like to get here?
Just a lot of weights and a lot of hitting. I never put down the bat, and I would always go to just lift like the same group as earlier.
You put a lot of muscle on this year.
Yes, sir.
How much did you gain?
Well, when I first started Simone, I gained 12 pounds. So
What skills are you currently working on right now? Like, what do you want to get better at?
like the same thing as Jay said, just consistency at the plate.
What was your recruiting process, right? So Hills College, what was that process like? What was it? What you expected? Let me ask you that.
Not really. When they first texted me, they wanted to give me out like a visit/practice with the team. So I got to practice with the team up there, meet everybody. I did pretty good up there, and then they came to watch some of my fall games, and I think they saw me. I hit a double off the wall, and after that, they just offered me.
So before that, like when they invited you to come out for a tryout, did you know that they were there watching you? They had a scout or a coach there watching you, or was it like, I love Jack's story where they suddenly, he gets the email and finds out they were there at a game. Was it anything like that, or was this more like, hey, I know we're coming out to see you, Kate?
No, I didn't know they were watching me. I think they reached out to my coach, Zach Senf, and he told them about me, and they started watching me in the fall, and they asked me to come to practice, and that's where it all happened.
Awesome. All right, what needs to come together for the 2026 Dragons to be 2026, right? Yeah, it's right here. To be 25 6A champions. What's it going to take?
I think just staying like level-headed and not like underestimating our opponents. Like last year, we had a district game. We beat them 10-0 in a game of 4. Came in, we went down like 6-0 early, and we lost that game. So just staying level-headed.
I like it. I like it. What's your pregame hype song?
I don't listen to any music pregame.
You know?
No, I don't.
Never did?
I never have.
Interesting. What is your pregame routine?
Just like hitting off the tee, hitting off soft toss, and going to machine, and then just stretching right before. And then we started this year. Me, Jace, Jack, and Brooks. It's like get the competitiveness flowing. We like do a little race before the game.
Hmm. I like it. Which batter do you want in the box with the game on the line?
Well, I trust anybody in the box, but
Good
probably
answer.
probably
Good
Luke
answer.
Rod,
Luke Rod? Who do you want on the bump?
Josh.
Not named Josh Horvath.
Well, a healthy Brandon.
Healthy Brandon. Okay. What's a teammate? What teammate has pushed you to be the best version of Kate Goddard?
Probably Josh because he was the first one to start going to work out at Simone with me. So probably him.
Who's the funniest in the locker room?
Uh, Probably Drew or Luke Rod. One of those two.
Who doesn't stop talking?
Luke.
Who's the most gullible?
I'm not gonna say Diego, so I'll probably go with JP Casman.
JP Casman. There's a new one. All right. Favorite nickname? Can be a teammate, pro, whatever.
I like Diego's Wabi.
Wabi. Any superstitions?
A few. I put my gloves on like right hand first, left hand first, and then I put my helmet on and then my elbow guard.
Got it. Favorite baseball movie?
The Sandlot.
Favorite romantic comedy?
I don't have one.
I'm not going to ask you last song you listen. You don't like any good romantic comedies like The Notebook.
Not that I can remember. I've never seen the Notebook.
All right. Who's your favorite coach you ever played for?
You.
Thank you. If you could go on a date with one actress, who would it be?
Sydney Sweeney.
She's got good genes. If you could spend a day watching baseball with one person, who would it be?
Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds. That's an interesting one. I like it. All right. Good luck to you, Kate.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate you, bud. All right. Thanks for coming out. Well, thanks for staying late.